or you can practice upon
前心里面讲，嫉妒心和傲慢是很难认识的。
invoke
自己
devotion
认为
to
自己是
the
特别的
from the three
谦
rule
虚
to the
虔
three
诚
rules
这样
and
的，但是别人眼里呢，你是特别
in such a way it
而
would
且因为
be
自己
very
的
helpful
傲慢
too.
和这个嫉妒和这些烦恼导致的话呢，也许在人生当中造
Or
业
another way, the third way is
比较
that
可怕
the illness
现在
is
不一
just
定
very
每个人
timely
都
because
到
I
你可
tend
能
to be
到
very
一定的
arrogant.
你的年龄
People
成熟
might
社
say
会
that
之
I'm
后
not arrogant
有
at
这
all,
经验
but
丰
I
富
don't
的
think
时候
that's
呢
very
才明白
necessary
啊，原来
because
呢
as
这
it is
个
stated
成熟
in
的时候
words of my
确实
perfect
因为
teacher,
我
it
的
says
傲
that
慢导
jealousy
致
and
的，因为
arrogance
我的
are the
嫉妒
most
心导致的，
difficult
因为我的
to
当时的
recognize
这种
for
这个
people.
就是
For
不面
yourself,
的
you
这
may
个
feel
不
that
不
you're
面的
humble
这
and
种
down
这
to
个
earth
性
and
格
all
导
of
致的
that,
话呢，
but maybe
也
for
造成
others,
这个很
you're
多的
very
这个比较
arrogant.
污秽的事情，会有
And
这种情
when
况。
you are
所以
young,
我们
it
下面
is
呢，
difficult to
让
discover
这样
that,
的这
but
个
when you get
这种
older
生性法
and
呢，
more
就是
mature
那
and
个
with
就
more wisdom, you
和
would
这个很
understand
前途
that
的这种
you
方法吧，就是
you
那么
you
前途
were
傲
very
前途傲慢
arrogant
是
and
什么
lots
呢？
of the
就跟我们
things
前
that
面
you
所讲的
did
一样，我们应该
were
依靠
out
什
of
么呢？
arrogance
以
or
自己的
jealousy.
本
Even
性，就
lots
是
of
摆脱
negative
不
things
了
could
痛苦
result in
这
the
个前进的这
things
种道
that
路。
you
自
regret
身是要依
nowadays.
靠什么呢？
So
依
now
靠
it
我们
talks
像
about
这样
using
的这个
sufferings
轮
to
回里面的
overcome
每一个众
arrogance.
生的话
As
呢，
I
其
explained
实是
before,
共
as
同
long
上
as
共
we are
同
in
可怜
samsara,
的，
we're
他
never
们都是
independent or truly
唯有
free
自主
or
的，
in
就
control of
经
our
常的这
lives.
个摆脱不
Sentient
了这
beings
个
are
轮回的各
not
种各样的痛苦。
free.
这个道
They
理呢，
don't
其
have
实
full control
很
of their
重要
own
的，
lives.
我们
This
人
is
的话呢，就
extremely
会把这
important
个
to
轮
remember
回的
because
痛苦，
if
克
every
服
one
了
of
去深
us
入的了解的话呢，
could
以后在
contemplate
实
on
践
the
当中
suffering
呢，
of
这个真
samsara
的修行可能会好很多。我
in
们
depth,
有时
then
候
I
轮回的
think
痛
that
苦，
would
或
be
者是
very
实践的
helpful
这个无知
for
明
your
白的话呢，
practice
实
because
际上人们就
people
是
do not
经
understand
常
the
这个
suffering
非
in
常羡慕
samsara
的
and they
赞
do
叹
not
的确信
understand
的这些
the
呢，你
impermanence.
如果真的是得到，
Therefore,
或者是
they
你跟着
would
嫉妒的
praise
什么
and
呢，
they would
也
admire
比
whatever
较明白
worldly
啊，比
success
较
other
会经
people
常会
have.
遇到还是
But
算是比
once
较
you really
有
get to
钱的
know
人，
those
对
people
对
that you
对，
admire,
非常有钱的
in
人，跟
terms
他接触
of
一段时间，啊，
people
如果内
who
心当中没有一些事
achieved
情已经
worldly
的话呢，
success, you
他
would
有时候
understand
会
that
有
those
轮回的
people,
在里面。
after
然后
attaining
有
all
非常
those
这个
admirable
权力的人
things,
的话呢，也给他接触
they
一
are
段时
still
间，啊，
suffering
就是他如果内心
inside.
没有什么的话呢，
I
在
myself
那
have
个
a
中
deep
什么
feeling
已
of
经
that
是
because
这样
I've
的。
met
包
many
括我们这个其他
with
的
wealth
实践
and
当
with
中呢，
fame and
就是
so
比
on.
较就是比较这个人们比较赞叹的这些这个实践的妙语的话呢，其实是
The
并
worldly
不是
beings
并不是那么的
praise
这个
different kinds
美
of
好，应该
qualities
在它
and
的背后，
different
或者它
kinds
的本质
of
上呢，就是有多多少少有
materials
很
and
多这个
things that
互赢互补。
people might
这样的
desire.
话呢，通过
But
三
at
面
the
的这
end,
些
it
道理
turned
呢，
out
通过三面
all
的
of
这些
those
道理
things
呢，
turn out
来
to
这
be
个解
not
决什
so
么？我
wonderful
们这个
anymore
痛苦的
because
这个
its nature
三面
is
生长的这个原理，
somewhat
原理是什么
either
呢？
the
就是
cause
我们
of
的这个傲
suffering
慢
or
其实
the
别人的
creation
个
of
性
suffering.
啊，一个是
So
个性，
through
一个
those
是
teachings, we
这
would
个
be
傲
able
慢。
to
这两
understand
个呢，就是如
we
果
need
真
to
正是
use
懂得这个
suffering
轮回里面的这
to
个这些痛苦，
destroy,
或者是说佛
we
教的
need
这些
to
深深道理的话呢，
use
就是能什么，就是摧毁什么呢？能摧毁我们的傲慢，能
we
摧毁我
need
们
to
的
use
个性。
suffering to
因为傲慢的话呢，
overcome
就是
our
让
arrogance
对外
as
的
well
善
as
良，自己也不
belittling
好，自己
others.
的善法，让别
If
人
we
也不好
cannot
行。
practice
傲慢的人经常造出很多
virtuous deeds
非常
and
不如法的
stop
这个事
others
情。
from
然
doing
后内
so,
心当中有恶
these
性的，
are the
没有
things
善
that
良的
could
心，确实
completely
有些
destroy
恶
our
性的话
virtuous
呢，
deeds
在生活当中
and
经常侵
roots.
蚀别人嘛，就侵蚀别人的果报也是非常严
Arrogant
重的。佛
people
经里面
tend
就
to
是有一个
belittling
叫做
others.
是这个尼提比丘啊。
I remember
尼提比
there's
丘的话
a,
呢，就是以
a
前他那
story
个
of
亲自下
Bhikshu
手的
Niti
啊，就因为
from
这个
the
原因的话
sutra.
呢，
He
500世
looked
当中
down
呢，就是
on
度
his
他犯法，
subordinates
他
a
500世
lot.
当中的话呢，
Therefore,
他
the
一直是
fruition
那
of
个
him
有
is
出
spend
分非常明
500
显下降的
lifetimes
这样的人。
to
所以我们可
clean the
能基层当中
bathroom.
呢，这个自己的因为的这种财富也好、权利也好、地位也好，或者
Therefore,
说是
in
因为这
our
个事件的这
lifetime,
各种各
with
样的
our
这
own
个
wealth,
比别人呢
social
这个好像
status,
有
and
这
all
个
different kinds
有
of
一些
things
这个
that
超越
may
的这
be
种规则
better
吧。因为这个原
than
因呢，
others.
我们可能看不起别人，因为
In
我们 以
all
尊
of
重
these
的
kind
这种
of
方式
standards,
就
we
是
would
轻视别人
belittle
啊别人
others,
或者说是
scoff
这个
at others,
给别人
create
制造各种
painful
各样的一些
situation
这
for
个
others,
痛苦的
and
话
the
呢
fruition
后
of
报
such
来
is
是
in
自己的
fact
特别
quite
就是可怕特别
horrifying
难忍的
and would
而且
be
这种
really difficult to
这种
endure.
傲慢的话呢，这个
Therefore,
在那
this
个
kind
这
of
方面之经当中也是有啊，这个
arrogance
色中
is
色
talked
中心
about
财富
in the
体
Sutra
度
of
的
Right
这
Mindfulness,
一切
where it says
见不
that
胜知者不盈
your
信啊我们
family
实践当中就是有这个
your family
就是
lineage,
自己
your
的这种
wealth,
这
and
个
all of those
妙
things that you
色
you
啊
tend
就
to
是也可以
enjoy
说
in
是
this
自己的
world,
相
in
貌
fact,
的这个傲
are
慢
all
还有这个个性
impermanent,
高贵
and
我是
the
不忘
wise
初心的
ones
我是
should
引
not
导中心的
believe
什么
and rely on
然后
any
财
of
富就
those.
是反正有了这
Whatever you have in this lifetime that are admirable, such as beautiful appearance, such as the family lineage, such as, for example, there are people who are from the family of government officials and so on, or with wealth,
这种快乐的这个玩具
or
以前我们
different toys.
这个小孩
I
啊玩的时
remembered
候自己有一个
that
慢慢
when I
自己
was
水果
young,
糖的
all
那
the
个
kids
外面的那个
really
字的话
enjoy
呢给别人面
collecting
前
the
就是
wrappers
看
of
我有这么一
candies,
好看的颜
and
色就是然后 就
the
有
kids
一个
would
有一个
collect
小
all
小的
those
那种这个
wrappers and
水
would
果
compare one to
糖的话
another.
呢就是好几天当中给别人炫耀，就是你看我有
If
这个
one
好
got
你没有
a
吧
little
你
piece
看我有
of
一定分
fruit
好就是
candy,
你都没有吧
they
但
would
其实我们实践当中的这种一样的，就是啊，我有一
they
辆
would
车
be
啊，我有
quite
一栋房子啊，
proud
啊，
and
我是什么什么，
started
包括
to
学问上什么
showing
是都
off
不
to the
把
others.
这
See,
个
I
我
have
都
this
反正
candy, but you
每个人
don't.
都觉得
In
自
fact,
己
for the
的
worldly
这个
beings,
跟
it is
别人
exactly
不
the
同的这个特
same.
点是很好的，
Except
就是
that it's no
有
longer
点
candy
这
anymore.
种
It is a
不
car,
管
a
是他的
house.
看法也好，他的这个
It is
这种颜色也好
your
都不同但是这个
degree,
呢
a bachelor
其实也
degree
是
or
并
PhD.
没有什么
People
作为
then
智者的话呢
compare
就是
yourself to the
知道自
others
己
with
拥有
different
拥有的这
standards,
种财富拥有
and
的这些
everyone
财
thinks
富啊
that
都
they're
是能
special.
靠谱的
Let
没有
it
什么
be
可信的
opinions,
啊
let
就
it
像
be
最好
their
一样
look,
今
and
天
so
是
on.
你拥有的但
However,
是再
as
过一
the
段时
wise
间
one,
是
you should
吧
understand
包括
all
这次
of
我们
these
疫情期间
stated
的话
things
呢
above
很多
are
的家庭
defiled,
很多的
and
人
they
的这种
let it
不
be
管是什么
wealth
对吧
or
给大
family
家献
and,
上一
and
个
all
非
of
常
those. They're
非
just
常
like
这
water
个
bubbles. Maybe
容
at the
易
beginning
以
you
前
could
根本
have
没有
it, but
想到
after
的
a
一
little
种无
while,
常
what
的这
happens
种
to
开
it?
始吧
You should
啊
know
就这
about
一点
that.
呢
I think
应
this
该是
pandemic, in fact,
大家
taught
更好
quite a
也
bit
能看得出
to
来
all of
所以
us,
你遇到
many
痛苦的
families,
时候
many
呢，你
people,
相信当中
domestically,
傲慢的这个智
internationally,
慧啊有时候我也这
definitely
样认为的。我去年就是他们给我
manifested
就是也
this
是在平
impermanence.
时的这个人生当中，弘法利生当中呢，也算是一种这个为缘。但是
I
当我说到为
think
缘的时候，刚开始有
whenever
点
we
这个不舒
encounter
服不然
suffering
呢，我
and
想
problems,
哎挺好的
the
这样的话呢
arrogance
去清
would
除我的
be
傲慢。人呢，
destroyed,
有时候是
would
遇
be
到这些事
overcame.
是很好
Sometimes I think
因
to
为这个原
myself
因的
that
话，我
it's
想
wonderful
但
that
愿
those
很多人
people
给我有
created
嫉妒的人呢，就不开
obstacles
心下去
on
了
my path
确
of
实也是这样，一直
liberating
反反
sentient
复复
beings
的
and
这个
giving
项目。
teaching to
有
others
时
to
我们
benefit
自己
sentient
都
beings.
不发现，
Maybe
可
at the
能
beginning
另一个
I
知道
don't
是吧
quite
就
feel
是
very
特
comfortable
别傲
about
慢
it
的，就
or
是
don't
他
feel
不管
very
怎么
good
样
about
来
those
告诉
things
自
that
己
they did to me.
来
But
来的这个所以
afterwards,
应该是
when I
傲慢
think
的表
about it,
现。
I would think that's good. It
应
could
该可能会这么
help
想
me
的，
to
因为看
overcome
不
my
惯的人呢，不
arrogance.
管是做什
I
么都
hope
是
that
都是觉
all
得
the
他这个
people
人很傲
who
慢，这个人是
are
不管
jealous
如
of
何不
me
管作
and
为也好，说
create
话也好，说
obstacles
也
for
好，
me
什么
would
行为都可能
enjoy
在里面。
happiness, and then I
但我
would
自己觉
contemplate
得是
again and
可
again
能
in
发
such
现
a
不
way.
了。但不管怎么样呢，我遇到一些事情
Anyhow,
的时候呢，就有时候感觉啊，人还是不能
whenever
一
I
直
encounter
一直很
anything,
顺的话呢，
I
他也许可
would
能
think
造业
about
是比较严重的，
that
永远都是可能
it is
没
very
办法
difficult
知道
for
这个
people
处
to
理
always
没办法
have
对人
a
会产生
very
真正的这种连接
smooth
性是吧
road,
就是那不是
smooth
现在
journey,
呢就还是
because people
产生
created
这些
karma,
也许是很好的。
or
所以我们
if
第
a
一个
person's
就
path
从这样
is
的
rather
这个呢
quite
就是说
smooth,
这
they
个
would
通过
create
这个痛
even
苦
worse karma along the path because they don't understand what renunciation is. They cannot generate such renounced mind towards samsara. So that is through suffering you can overcome arrogance. When people are healthy, they feel they're the best. And when they get ill, they became more faithful. When people have social status, when they're ministers and governors and all those officials, they are quite arrogant, but after they resign from those posts, they are completely different when you have tea with them. So same applies to wealth and so on. After people lose all of those things, they tend to grasp onto, they tend to be more accommodating to others. Therefore, it could be helpful. The suffering could be helpful. And then the fourth one is using suffering to purify harmful actions. Remind yourself and realize all the suffering which I'm going through and the suffering which is great still are all the boundless sufferings that there is come from nothing but harmful negative actions. I think for the Buddhists, it's quite important to believe or have deep faith in karma and causes and conditions and fruition. You should contemplate, today I am unhealthy. It must be because I used to kill other sentient beings in this lifetime or the other. Why I lost all my money? It is probably because I must have had robbed other people's money before or harmed others. So we should understand that, in fact, karma is certain, cause and effect is infallible. The second one is karma multiplies enormously. And whatever you commit, and the third one is you will never face the effect of something you have not done. And fourth one, whatever you have done will never go to waste. We often say that all the karma that's created by sentient beings will not be in vain, even in thousands of eons. And whenever the causes and conditions mature, the fruition will definitely mature. So if you don't want to have those sufferings, you must eradicate its cause. That is all the non-virtuous deeds such as killing, thefting, and so on. You should use all the antidotes and confess all the previous wrong deeds you've done and make the vow of not doing them ever again and treat them with great with wholeheartedness. And then you say to yourself, so if I don't want to suffer anymore, then I must give up the cause of suffering, which is negativity. With the help of the four powers, make an effort to acknowledge and purify all the negative actions you have accumulated in the past, and then firmly resolve to avoid doing them in the future. As it is stated in the Mahaprajna Paramita Sutra, it says that whatever karma that we've accumulated has great powers, and such karma would not chase the ones who did not create them. If you did create such karma, then the fruition will definitely come. If you didn't, then it won't mature.